All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So it's early Sunday morning here, fresh off the Jets' loss against the New York Giants in only the second week of preseason. And despite it only being the second week of preseason, there are negative articles all over the place, negative headlines. And you kind of feel like the mood that's being pushed is the sky's falling, right? Panic mode. It's time to panic if you're the Jets. Because of the lack of a passing attack from last night's performance. And it's unfortunate, right? Because it's the second week of preseason. Not second week of the regular season, second week of the preseason. Not week 4, not week 6, August 17th. We're seeing this stuff. When does the season start? September 7th. So we still have weeks before the start of the season. But in this one, I'm not here to defend Justin Fields' performance. Quite frankly, there's really nothing to defend. It was not good at all. 1 for 5, 4 yards. Positives that you can pull from that, there's nothing really. There's nothing really happening down the field. There's mistakes all over the place. But I do want to look at it with context, right? Because I think that's what's really important here. So you look at what Justin Fields did last night. 19 total plays, 19 snaps, 2 drives, 19 plays. 12 handoffs. So out of the remaining 7 plays, he had 1 completion to Mason Taylor. He had 1 quarterback scramble where he picked up a couple yards. And then he had 4 incompletions. 1 incompletion came from Paulson Adebo, draped all over Garrett Wilson. In my opinion, it was pass interference. It wasn't called. Another incompletion came where Armand Membu got beat by Kayvon Thibodeau, got in the backfield. Justin Fields had to jump to try to deliver a pass, trying to avoid the sack. Another incompletion came on a bad snap from Joe Tippmann, a high snap on a designed quick throw, which that is simply, like, it's just unacceptable. You can't have that. Right, the point, and we talked about this in the recap video, the point of a designed quick throw, especially when you're kicking it outside to a wide receiver, is to get the football in that playmaker's hands as quickly as possible and to almost catch the defense off guard, right? By getting the football out to one side of the field so quickly, you're essentially eliminating half the field. You're putting everyone on that side, in this case, the left side of the field, in a situation where they now need to flock to the football. Quarterbacks are literally taught by coaches to get the football out as quickly as possible. You don't even have time to get a good grip on the ball. You don't have time to fiddle with the ball to get your hands on the laces. The ball needs to come out immediately on these screens, right? Especially at the collegiate level, because that's where you see a lot of this stuff. So the fact that you have a high snap, the play's botched immediately. And then the final incompletion was a slant to Garrett Wilson. I felt like the defender made a good play on the ball. So that's it. That's what happened with Justin Fields. 19 plays, 12 handoffs, a couple incompletions. I don't think the sky's falling here. Now, the passing, once we hit the regular season, the passing game could be completely egregious. It could be inept. The Jets don't really have a lot of depth at wide receiver outside of G5 here. I mean, we've had a couple standouts, but they're more so bottom of the depth chart. You know, Quentin Skinner from Kansas, Brandon Smith, who was here last year. Arian Smith, I felt like bounced back after a poor drop yesterday. Made a couple of sweet snags, but overall, we have a lot of veterans on cheap 1-year deals, right? Josh Reynolds, we've heard some good things, but he hasn't really, done much as of late, according to reporters. Tyler Johnson, I think he could be a decent wide receiver 4 option. Corley, haven't heard anything. Xavier Gibson, haven't really heard anything outside of the injury, unfortunately. So yeah, there is, and we also know that the team wants to be a run-first team. Then you throw on top of it Justin Fields' track record as a quarterback. He is more so that runner. Not saying he can't throw, but he is a running quarterback here. So I don't think that the Jets are going to be relying on this passing attack to carry them to victories. Now, of course, it will happen. There will be a couple games where the passing game needs to step up. But I think really a lot of Jets fans are hoping for, hey, can this thing be functional? Can it be functional? Because so far, it has not been functional in preseason. A couple checkdowns. I thought Fields looked good in that Packer game. And then, of course, we just talked about this game. But is it this clunky, confusing, disorganized mess? Or is it at least serviceable? One thing to keep in mind here. We've heard all off season that Tanner Engstrand has been designing this offense around Justin Fields, trying to put him in a position to have success. There is a focus on developing him as a passer. And also there is a big priority with getting Garrett Wilson involved. Supposedly Tanner Engstrand is coming up with specific plays, specific play designs to get G5 the football. That is something that we actually have not heard before in recent years. So based off of what we've seen so far in preseason, does that look like what we've heard? No. So that does give me a little bit of faith that, hey, when the regular season does come rolling around, right, when the Pittsburgh Steelers come into town, again, September 7th here, I think the offense should look more creative. Now, as far as the season goals are concerned, as far as the defense goes, my personal goal, can this defense be in the top half? Can this defense be top 15? You have a couple positions of need. You have some depth concerns. You have a couple injuries right now, but overall, you have enough star power, in my opinion, to be a top 15 defense. I think if we can roll out a top 15 defense, we'll be okay on that side of the football. And offensively, really the focus for me is running attack. Can we be a top 10 rushing unit? I'm talking attempts, I'm talking yardage, I'm talking touchdowns. I think if you can combine a top 10 rushing attack with a top 15 defense, that should theoretically put you in a position to be in games, to be competitive in games. Now, of course, there's all the hidden details, the minutia, if you will, third down conversions, penalties, going backwards, critical moments, clutch situations, wasting timeouts, overall clock management, when and when to not challenge plays, game planning throughout the week, play call. There's a lot of stuff that goes into winning and losing. But I think when it's all said and done, if the Jets are, again, top 10 rushing attack, top 15 defense, we should be in a lot of competitive games. Clock is moving. You're running the ball a lot. You're wearing down the defense. You're forcing those guys to tackle. Chances are, if you're a successful rushing team, you're going to be in a lot of third and shorts, making the quarterback's job easier, making the pass catcher's job easier as well. Utilize first and second down to get into third and shorts. And again, who knows how this passing attack is going to look? It could be the worst in the league. It could be abysmal, like we were talking about before. But this is the beauty with Darren Muji's contract to begin with. This is what we were talking about since March. If it doesn't work, we're not locked into this 4 or 5 year deal. Like Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns, that whole situation, right? You're not locked into this big deal with a lot of money involved, and no team was really willing to take the contract. Think Kirk Cousins with the Atlanta Falcons. The Jets are not in this position. It was a win-win setup from the general manager and Darren Muji. If he works out, great. He's a young quarterback with potential. If he doesn't work out, that's fine too. We could either draft a quarterback in the first round, or maybe there's a big-time veteran on the move, right? Think of when Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn were both brought into Detroit. They acquired Jared Goff, who, look at what he's doing now. So could maybe someone like that be on the move at the end of the season? I don't know. It's too far down the rabbit hole. So again, it's the second week of preseason here. I don't really think it's time to panic. We've seen how many examples do we see a team start slow and then they start picking it up week 6, week 7, week 8, week 9. Now all of a sudden they start turning the corner. Like maybe that's how the Jets are going to look. Maybe that's how they're going to be, right? We literally saw the Detroit Lions perform like that in Dan Campbell's second year. Lots of losses early on, but they're kind of competitive. They're hanging in games. And then they started winning in the back half of the season. Maybe that's how the Jets season plays out. Who knows how it's going to look? All I know is that the season isn't over after the second week of preseason. Is there one team out there? Is there one team out there that there's this much pressure on? Like the Jets are expected to win 5. Like the over under from Vegas is 5.5 wins, but yet it feels like externally there's pressure to be this perfectly operating machine, this well-oiled machine on every single facet. It's like there's a lot of new faces. There's a lot of changes here. So, we can't expect the Jets to look like the Baltimore Ravens or the Chiefs or the Eagles in the second week of the preseason, is all I'm saying. One last thing before I end the video here. I do want to see Fields against the Eagles. I know in that last preseason game... historically, you do see a lot of the starters in the third preseason game, and then you don't see any in the fourth. But now there is no fourth preseason game. You just have the third one. Personally, I'm rolling Justin Fields out there a lot. I want to see... If AG and Inkstrom want to keep him out there for the entire first half and just let him sling it, I understand that's not going to be the identity, but just give him reps against live tacklers, a live defense that's trying to make plays and earn their job. I think that will really benefit Fields. Fields, in my opinion, is in a position where he needs reps to get better. And, if you want to roll Fields out there and just hand the football off a bunch of times, I get it. That's how your offense wants to be, but it's the preseason. These games don't matter. The win-loss, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So I'm going to let Fields sling it around against the Eagles, for better or for worse. Whatever happens, happens, right? Completions, incompletions, touchdowns, picks. Just let it fly, let it loose, and just learn from it. The game's, like, Fields is going to be QB1. Give him reps, give him something to look at in practice would be my suggestion. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. And as always, go Jets.